Hello, my name is Barbara Mainhart. I'm the Outreach Coordinator for the Alpha Center for Divorce Mediation. Today, my guest is Christine Lombardo-Zaun, who is an attorney-mediator with the Alpha Center. And our topic today is, it was supposed to be our favorite client, but when I ask our attorneys about that, it's very hard for them to narrow it down. So I asked Christine, and she's come up with a different flavor. And she's going to focus on three couples that she shepherded and navigated through the mediation program, and what came out of that, from them, for them, and what she took away from it. So take it away, Christine.
Hi, Barbara. Thanks. Yes, this was an interesting question. And I thought at first when you asked that of us, it'd be easy to find my favorite client. I didn't even think twice about it. But then as I was going through my files, I'm like, no, this is so much harder. And that's in part because, with Alpha, we vet our clients. We do the consult and we get to know the people before we all agree to work together. And so I think that's important because I get a choice in who I want to work with and who I don't. And I think it's really important that you have that good relationship when you're selecting a mediator or an attorney. So with that, I found three that came into a very close tie, and I was like, I can't narrow it down any further. And so I obviously can't name names, but I found three.
Wow. Okay.
And I'm still working with them. So, we're going through the process, but they're almost at the end of the mediation process. So I've been able to see them at the beginning and at the end, which is pretty cool.
That is great because, it bears out that mediation does make a huge difference in how you get divorced. And that people who invest in mediation, as their preferred option and put the work into it, I would hope, walk away with a lighter step.
I definitely feel like they are. They definitely came into mediation with the right mindset. And I wrote a couple things that, there were some common denominators that each couple had. And that was what made it really difficult for me to kind of pick who was, my favorite. But they came in with an open mind. But they also came in, hurting for sure. Everybody hurts. And they were angry, but they were able to compartmentalize and put that to the side. Mm-hmm. And that's something that I set up when I talked to them initially is that, I understand you're hurting. I understand you're angry, but the best way to get through that is to kind of park our emotions over here and leave them there, own them, but just put them to the side so we can focus on the business aspect, which is dividing the assets and liabilities of the marital estate. And all three of these couples were on board with that right from the beginning. And they adhered to it. Sometimes the emotion would leak in, but, that was my job as the mediator to keep it back up on the shelf. Mm-hmm. So that was a big thing. They didn't want to gouge each other's eyes out. And that's a big part of, I think, being a mediator friendly couple. Mm-hmm. If two people are coming in and they want to fight each other and punish each other, I'm not sure mediation's the right thing, but these couples saw the value in mediation right from the beginning, and they saw that they were going to save a lot of money and a lot of time. Mm-hmm. And each of these three couples, believe it or not, had enough assets that private litigators would have had a field day with them. Oh. Yeah, and they would have spent probably 3 or 4 times what they did with Alpha.
Yeah, they would have made sure that those emotions never got up on that shelf.
Yeah, and they realized that value, and they, because I told them they all have children. Mm-hmm. They put the needs of the children first, and that was just non-negotiable. But they realized that the money that they're saving can be used for their kids. Yeah. And for their starting their new chapter. And, that's been, they definitely see the value in their savings for sure.
and that's really wonderful because, and it's such a simple concept, but in the height of emotion, some people like just ignore that, and not until, the damage is done permanently to the finances and probably to the kids, do they realize, what the results were.
Well, and living through my divorce, I now know what it feels like to go through a divorce and how traumatic it can be. And even though you're sitting there and you look like you're all put together and everything's working, on the inside you're probably falling apart,
Mm-hmm.
and you can't put A and B together. And so it really helped me to better understand my clients and where they were at different times. So I was able to check in with them more, and kind of, if they were having some feelings, I was able to just uncover them,
Mm-hmm.
park them back up on the shelf, or answer questions that they had that they might not have thought about. I know my clients really appreciated that. There were many things that I brought to the table that they didn't consider.
Yeah.
And so we discussed it, and having a neutral third party for this, it kind of takes that stress, that weight off their back, because they don't have to worry about, is this person hiding anything from me, because we've already taken care of that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the best common denominator that these couples had was their sense of humor.
Really?
Yeah, and I thought about it, I was like, am I a bad mediator because I'm laughing with my clients when we have calls or meetings? And I mean, when I say laugh, I mean, we literally probably spend 10, 15 minutes just laughing over things, over life, over COVID, over, politics, whatever. I mean, there's so much to laugh about out there right now. And I will say, my caveat, I did not encourage or initiate the laughter, because, I try to keep it professional, and, not to be stone cold serious, but, professional and on task.
Yeah.
But these three clients in particular opened that door of laughter, and it brought a lot of levity to the case. And so, we kind of felt more comfortable with one another. And so, yeah, we would giggle and laugh, and, on the Zoom calls, and you almost didn't realize that we were talking about a divorce.
Wow.
And I guess that's one of the things that I pride myself on, is I'm really able to compartmentalize that emotion, and kind of almost make it look like it's not a divorce.
Mm-hmm.
And I really think it helps my couples heal and start the recovery process and start the growth of their new chapter. So,
Wow. Oh, that is wonderful. And
yeah.
and it sounds like, these couples had a great deal of, I'm going to say, respect for each other. That, they, no, they're both hurting. Nobody wants to see the dream of, your marriage, kind of dissolving. But it sounds like, they still recognized each other as valuable human beings.
Yes, well said. And that's so true. Like they do, and they're good people.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, all of my clients are good people. But I think it's the way you present the meal, and they come to the table knowing that this person has value.
Mm-hmm. That is wonderful. Um, that is a very, very interesting discussion, Christine. I really, really enjoyed it. And I know that you said you're not at the total end point yet, but it sounds like you're ready to launch your three couples, into their new worlds, and
Yep.
and realize that they are going to land on their feet.
Yeah, we're waiting on the last step. So all of the hard work has been done.
Mm-hmm.
I actually am going to be really sad to have to close their cases, but I know that they're ready to fly and move on. And I need to thank them, because I learned from my clients so much. And so I'm really grateful for that.